What's going on, guys, in the works? And the patch has dropped, which means weapon changes are all over the place. We have so many different weapon changes, but today we're going to be taking a look at the M416 and talking about how it compares to its former self before the patch and how it compares to the M16 now that they've patched both the M16 and the M416. So a lot of people felt like the M416 was outclassed by the M16 in every category, so DICE decided that they were going to give it some substantial buffs. Not only have they made the first shot recoil much lower than it used to be, which is extremely useful. A lot of people tend to overlook how big of a factor that can be, especially if you need to go full auto on a target at a medium to long range. I never advise that, but sometimes certain situations do call for shooting more than 5 bullets. I feel like any more than 5 bullets, you tend to have a hard time staying on target. And the centering speed on this thing seems a lot better. Let's take a look at some of the groupings here. And you can see that even with 2, 3, 4, 5 bursts, you can keep them in a pretty straight line. Most of the recoil is up and just upwards recoil. There's really no side to side, but you can see if you compensate for the recoil, kind of pull down a little bit, you can get some really good groupings on your bullets. Now, if you go fully auto, you don't pull down or anything. This thing just goes straight up. There's almost no side to side deviation. So foregrip is something you want to completely avoid, guys. Avoid it like the plague. Don't put foregrip on M416. I am running it with heavy barrel in both of these clips you'll see. So heavy barrel with Cobra, and then I switched to the holographic just to kind of mix it up to see if there's any real difference, which there's not. But they did reduce the horizontal and vertical recoil, so this thing is very easy to control. It's very, very accurate, and I think that's what a lot of people were wanting out of this weapon. It was already a low recoil weapon in a lot of people's eyes, but the problem is it only shoots 750 rounds per minute. So I feel like it's completely balanced now because it isn't a high fire rate weapon. You can still beat it with F2000, you can still beat it with the AEK, you can still beat it with the M16 even, but it has the recoil that kind of comes with a low fire rate weapon. Now, it's not the lowest in the game, but it is still, you know, a pretty medium. And I still think the L85 and the Scar L still seem to have lower kind of recoil patterns as well. So it's a nice little balance between the weapons. Now that the M16 has a little bit more upward recoil, I feel like the M416 really does have a place in the game. Now, does it make it the best gun in the game? I don't really know. That's up to you guys. I think one of the problems a lot of people had with the M16 is the fact that it shot 800 rounds per minute, which a lot of people felt like didn't really play into the way it recoiled. They felt like the fire rate was too fast for a weapon that reloaded in 1.8 seconds and had almost no recoil. Well, like I was saying, this only being 750, I feel like you don't really cross that line of being a quote overpowered weapon, and I try to avoid ever using that terminology because I feel like all it does is leading to, you know, multitudes of patches, multitudes of changes, and before you know it, you're not even playing the same game that you bought day one. So I mean, I know that's part of the patch evolution, but I try to avoid that terminology. I do think it's a very solid weapon. I think we're going to see a lot more people using the M416. It's a nicely balanced weapon. It doesn't have a crazy rate of fire. The recoil is still there. You know, you still have to compensate somewhat, but it's much more controllable. And it's really good at medium to long ranges. You don't really want to take this in a close range engagement, but if you do, you can still compete, and that's why I like it. It's a weapon that can compete in most situations, but it's not a weapon that's completely overpowered. So I don't know, let me know what you guys think. I've spent a lot of time with this post-patch, and I think that it's going to be perfectly balanced. I hopped in this TDM here and got some quick footage, and you know, it's pretty solid. I will be using the M416 a little bit more, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick video. I will see you guys later. Peace.